Hey guys, Tony with SeattleBoatDetailing.com. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some work I did over the last couple days. This is a black boat that is overdue for some detailing. If you have seen or have a black or dark colored boat and it has turned white like this, you are in for a treat. Just to start, I would like to say that this is not the typical boat we do. Hopefully this won't incur a bunch of boats like this, but if it does, that's okay. We can handle it. We would just rather not see them get this way. So this boat has been about 2 years, I was told, since it was last detailed and polished. And this is just some walk around stuff I'm notating before I get started. But basically the black hull has turned white. The top sides have turned kind of dull and faded. Not as bad. White just doesn't oxidize as bad. So the moral of this story really begins with maintenance is crucial. Especially on darker color boats, even undercover. It doesn't matter if it's a boat, it's in the water, even if it's not in the water, it needs maintenance. This side of the hull I'm showing right there looks pretty good compared to this side. But to be honest, the other side that was in the quote shady side was nearly as bad as the side. Well, that's not true. It wasn't as bad or nearly as bad as the other side, but it was very bad too. Despite not being able to see it in the shot, it ended up taking quite a bit of polishing and compounding to get it better. On this side, compounding and polishing was just not an option. It would not have held had we went that route. And so what I'm showing here is, of course, again, wet sanding. I've done some wet sanding here. Process of doing a little bit more right here. That's prior to rinsing it. And then here's the rinse. And then you can still see there's a little bit of the white there where I haven't rinsed yet. That needs to be gone over some more. I believe this step I was using right here was 800 grit. And I'm going to go over that a little bit more with the 800. And then I'm going to switch to 1000 grit. And as usual, I'm using that Griot's Garage Orbital Polisher and the reflection right there with that sanding disc. Again, I think this was my 800 grit step. I'm just pointing out some areas that I've got to retouch with that 800 before switching over. All right, in this shot, I've sanded again with the 1000 and then given it a chance to dry. And I just wanted to show you how it's going to look after you've done the sanding prior to polishing, and then right here on the left where I've polished a little bit of it. And then here where I've polished some more of it versus the sanded part to the right here that's not been polished yet. You see the difference there, how dull it is to the right. If you've never sanded a boat and you attempt to tackle something like this, you're going to see that dullness and maybe get a little bit scared. Don't. That's the way it's supposed to look. And then as you polish and compound it out, it's going to get better. I haven't done that little end piece right there yet with the compound. Just know, wet sanding is not something you want to do if you're not an experienced polisher. Because the polishing portion of this, you've got to really understand how to do it right, how to not overdo it in order to get out the scratches and the dullness caused by the wet sanding. This was my first compound step. I go over all of this again with a polymer sealant and another bit of compound in, and this is here, the end shot. Just showing that it's all been done here. And I know it's turned to night here. This is the end of day 3 or maybe day 2. I might have had a little bit of this white left still to do. But basically this job took a full 3 days. And Very involved job, top to bottom. Only the black got wet sanded. Everything else was just compounded and polished, including all the stainless, all the isinglass, and all the glass. So basically just a top-down detail. Again, including that wet sanding step, which really adds a bunch of time and a bunch of work to the job. But as you can see here, it really makes all the difference when it's needed. And one more time, just a quick run through of some stills I took showing kind of the progress and progression of the detail. As you can see, it turned out pretty good, and this boat is ready for sale.